what I want to talk about is in regards to the Her report that just came out. I think this is on the mind of a lot of Americans right now. I want to just state the obvious. If you're not cognitively fit to stand trial or to answer accusations against you, you're obviously not cognitively fit to be the president, our commander-in-chief, and our head of state. And I think that, we have to, at this particular point, we have to start asking the hard questions. I'm glad to see that some of the press is starting to do that. I've been saying individually for a long time since he was candidate Joe Biden that this man's not cognitively fit to be our head of state and our commander-in-chief. We've had lots of evidence of that since then. A lot of people are starting to see that. Now we have the Her reports coming out, which is a completely different angle on this, an objective report from a member, from an appointee of his own DOJ, from his own administration, that's saying that he's not cognitively fit to do his job. I think that when the president got up the other day and tried to speak to the nation, he just reiterated and reinforced the idea that we are in trouble in this country right now from a leadership standpoint. Look, this LNG thing is a big issue for us. I grew up in the oil field in West Texas. I know how important this is. It's a national security issue. It's an issue for our economy. It's going to punish hardworking blue collar folks in this country. But whether it's this LNG issue, whether it's our disaster at the border, whether it's the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the crime in our cities, all of the other issues that have just been an absolute disaster during the Biden administration, what it says to us is that Joe Biden is probably most likely not making these decisions. We know this at this particular point. There are radical extremists in the West Wing, whether it's climate extremists or whether it's the globalists that are making a lot of these decisions. These decisions are not coming from President Biden. These are coming from other folks within the White House with different agendas, with agenda that's not America first, that's not in the best interest of this country. So I just want to let everybody know that we are going to continue to make this an issue. I will be introducing another letter today. This will be the fifth letter that I've introduced, that I've sent to the president. This will go directly to President Biden. It will CC every member of his cabinet, and it will insist that he come forward and be honest with us about his physical and his mental capabilities and his exams. He's supposed to be getting a physical exam done here in just a few months, his annual physical. They've already indicated that there will not be a cognitive test associated with that. I think if there was ever a time that we need a cognitive test for a sitting president of the United States, it's right now. And as you remember, President Trump got one. I think he set the precedent. It was a large part because of the press, his insistence that he have that included as part of his physical exam. I would like to see that same type of enthusiasm and insistence from the press right now, that President Biden submit to a cognitive exam as part of his physical exam. And if he thinks he's fit to lead this country, prove it to us with some objective data that says so. And with that, I just want to turn it over to my friend and Chairman Mark Green from Tennessee. Thank you.
Last night, the House of Representatives voted to impeach DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas for high crimes and misdemeanors, specifically for his willful and systemic refusal to comply with the laws and his breach of the public trust. This action, this is the culmination of nearly a year's worth of investigations and hearings, was necessary to deal with a rogue DHS secretary whose lawless actions have caused and perpetuated one of the worst border crisis in American history, a border crisis that has devastated communities all across our country. Secretary Mayorkas has shown throughout his tenure that he will defy, he will ignore, and he will replace the laws enacted by this Congress. His actions have not only shown a disdain for the Constitution, but for the Congress, the law, and the American people. The constitutional case against Secretary Mayorkas is sound. The historical record is unambiguous. The framers were united in their belief that the executive branch officials must defend the Constitution, respect the separation of powers, and enforce the laws passed by this body. And if they fail to do so, they should no longer hold office. If we're all being honest here, we all intuitively understand this. When an executive branch official rejects, unilaterally replaces the laws passed by this Congress, we have to act. And last night, we did. I want to thank Speaker Johnson for his support, his leadership, the entire leadership's team for their support over the months for my committee. And I want to thank the members of the Committee on Homeland Security and our staff who has done a fantastic job. They and this Congress, this Republican Congress, have worked to hold this lawless secretary accountable. It's now time for the Senate to do its duty, to step up, hold a trial, and convict Secretary Mayorkas.